You and I did a good job making this tiny vessel, even if it's not very much. I regret that you seem to be dying now. I guess I should have known better, but you would have likely died just as much if I had left you on that rock. I thought about killing you for food, but after you helped me, it didn't seem right. Just stay awake. Focus on my voice. Though I've heard from somewhere that it really doesn't matter if you fall asleep or not. You're just as likely to live or die if I allowed you to rest. But really, I don't want to be left alone yet. I'm a pirate, so I'm allowed that bit of selfishness, aren't I? I really want to tell you that you're not going to die, but I would hate to lie to you if you are. It's bad luck to lie to a dying man at sea. I was once told that women on a ship were bad luck as well, but I can't say that's the reason I became a captain, though it would sound nicer. Here, let me hold your head up a little. I owe you at least a little comfort, don't I? You look so feverish. It's going to be fine one way or another. I've heard death isn't so bad. It's like a soothing boat ride down into hell. Not a good analogy right now? I guess I'll tell it to you again later, when we're back on shore and you're mourning being alive. I'm completely aware that I look perfectly fine despite how we haven't had proper food for days, let alone fresh water. It's been a while and your brain is probably nearly fried away. But I told you that I made a deal with the sea, didn't I? It wasn't merely a captain's brag. I poured at least twice the amount of blood a human can hold of my own blood into the sea since I began. And so in exchange, I cannot thirst and I cannot starve out at sea. I'm sure there's more factors at work than my perceived piety, but as long as I'm at sea, I cannot die. It works well for me after all these days we've spent out here, but not so much for you. I can't say that I wanted to watch you die like this, but I wasn't about to go alone. I suppose you might curse me now, but I don't imagine we would have been much better off if we would have stayed. There's a law in life in which you must always be striving for better, even in the most hopeless situations. I promise that once we get out of this terrible situation, I'll buy you the finest wine and the most tender lamb. Even the swill they have in that port will be better than anything you've tasted before once we get through this. I'll even give you a place of honor in my crew. Of course, I'm not going to simply lay down once we get out of this. I'm going to keep making new crews until the day I die. And I know the day the water rises above my head, I'll be alone. It's not such a big deal. It's simply how it'll be. You, however, at least won't have to worry about dying alone if you're on my crew. I'll be right beside you all the while. And especially now. Don't expect me to sing you off. Singing is what got us into this mess, after all. Since you might be dying and since I don't get to tell people often, I'll tell you a bit about me before we reach the end of this voyage. Well, we're still alone. As alone as you can be this close to the water. I was taken from my mother at a young age by pirates. The ones that took me, the one captain that took me was named Hades Smith, and he was a beast of a man much like I am. He sold me to a nobleman who was rarely home, so his servant who was meant to groom me taught me literature and language instead. When the nobleman returned, I spent much of my time in agony until I managed to escape. I got revenge on the man that separated me from my mother, on the nobleman, and on Hades himself. That's where my ship got her name. There isn't a moment that doesn't go by that I don't feel ill thinking about that ship alone and smashed to the nines like I was. I never bothered to ask you where you came from. I imagine you might be one of those dogs from that thieving bastard's crew that led us astray in the first place. If that was your old captain, then I hate to say that I'll be the first to wrap my hands around his wiry neck if he hasn't already been skewered and gobbled up. If you still feel any loyalty to him over me, then I'll have to kill you too. It's only a formality, if you can believe it. I really wish I could put you out of your misery now, but I don't want to be left alone. I guess you're here with me for the long haul, and when it's time to settle whether or not we're meant to kill each other, we'll settle it then. But for now, I'll keep you nice and shaded, and maybe you won't pass away just yet. Or were you in the hold with me? I can almost make out a voice that was talking to me down there. But down there I was nothing more than an injured hound, watching and waiting. I'm free now, and we'll just have to see what this old dog can do. Rest for now. Reserve your strength. I'll wake you if anything has changed. Your breathing is enough. Your company is enough for now.